Good evening. You're tuned in to Emo Nightly News every moment online. In tonight's headlines, Granby and Salisbury launch Carnival celebrations with lively village openings. 19 students receive white coats as AXOM enrollment reaches 94. Dominica Customs and Excise Division marks International Customs Day. OECS marks International Day of Education 2026, championing youth as drivers of education reform. Winter storm slams eastern US, power outages, flight cancellations, and hazardous roads. Miss OECS Pageant 2026 returns to Dominica, celebrating unity and youth empowerment. Minnesota governor demands Trump remove border agents after nurse killed. And 18 dead after Philippines ferry with 300 passengers sinks. Details of these stories and more coming up next. Stay with us.
Dear Diary, I didn't expect to find it, but I did. Not just love, but a love that breathes. A love that climbs with the vines, dances with the waterfalls, and whispers in the trees. There's this place, and I think it found me first. In the stillness of morning mist, in the fire of the sunsets, in the salt on her skin, I remembered who I was. Dominica, you are more than a place. You are a feeling. You are my nature of love.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis, and this is the news broadcast for the 26th of January 2026. In local news this evening, Granby and Salisbury hosted successful village openings over the weekend, setting the stage for the Carnival season with color, music, and lively performances. Carnival lovers were treated to energetic parade troops and music from popular Dominican bands such as Triple K and Signal Band. The weekend was filled with excitement, culture, and entertainment as communities came together to celebrate the start of the festivities. International Customs Day was observed earlier today under the theme Customs Protecting Society Through Vigilance and Commitment. highlighting the vital role customs administrations play in safeguarding communities worldwide. In Dominica, the observance began with a church service at the Portsmouth Catholic Church, followed by the blessing of the new customs officers' residence at Longhouse. Activities culminated with an award ceremony and luncheon at the Cabridge Cruise berth, recognizing the dedication and service of customs officers. As part of the celebrations, the Dominica Customs and Excise Division is observing Customs Week from January 25 to 31, 2026, featuring activities aimed at staff engagement, stakeholder collaboration, and public awareness. A key highlight of the week is Customer Appreciation Day, which occurred earlier this morning. Activities include an information desk to assist customers, partner booths including the National Bank of Dominica, light refreshments, and tokens of appreciation. Members of the public will get the opportunity to participate in a guided tour of non-restricted areas of the port designed to explain the cargo clearance process and improve understanding of customs procedures. A total of 94 students are now enrolled at the American Canadian School of Medicine, ACSOM, as the institution marked another major milestone with its 6th inaugural White Coat ceremony on January 23, 2026 at the Picard campus in Portsmouth. The ceremony formally inducted 10 new students into the medical profession as they took the oath of compassionate patient care before faculty members, government officials, family, and friends. Delivering welcome remarks, Dr. Stanley White described the White Coat ceremony as a defining milestone, inviting students to reflect on the responsibility, professionalism, and compassion symbolized by the White Coat.
I'd like to welcome you to this very special occasion, the 6th White Coat ceremony for ACSOM for the class of 2030. Congratulations. You made it through the first week of teaching. You should give yourself a round of applause. This ceremony is more than a milestone. It's a symbol of your entry as a trainee into the medical profession and the responsibilities that come with it. The occasion invites us to reflect on the significance of this moment for you and ask ourselves, what does the white coat symbolize to you as a future physician? Why do you wear it? Why is it white? The White Coat ceremony is a tradition celebrated at almost every US medical school and in many other schools worldwide. It began in 1989 at the University of Chicago Pritzker School of Medicine to remind students of the importance of professionalism in both behavior and appearance. They were fed up of people turning up to class in beach shorts. By 1993, it had evolved, and Columbia University hosted the first such ceremony like the one you're in now. And the ceremony's purpose was to emphasize compassion, collaboration, and scientific excellence in patient care.
ACSOM President Carrie James highlighted the institution's role as a private, non-profit medical school with a strong social mission. He also expressed confidence in the school's future growth, noting plans for ACSOM to double its student population in the coming years.
Today we mark a meaningful milestone, beginning of your journey in medicine. The white coat you receive today is more than a symbol. It represents responsibility, service, and a future defined by knowledge, compassion, and purpose. You join American Canadian School of Medicine at a moment of extraordinary progress. Just a few years ago, American Canadian School of Medicine began with a humble first class of 9 students. Today, we have 94 students enrolled at our growing university. Each student has been selected for their ability their character, and desire to become a physician. Over the course of the next year, our school will double again in size, driven by an ever stronger and more qualified applicant pool. So there will be new colleagues, more of them, just like you, talented, and in the right place. Growth like this matters, but only if it's done in the right way. For us, growth means more faculty. It means additional academic resources, expanded student services, and deeper clinical partnerships. It means investing ahead of need and not reacting after the fact. It means preserving small group learning, personalized instruction, and uncompromising academic standards, no matter how much we grow. Axum is more than a story of growth, however. It is really part of a new educational model for the region. We are nonprofit. We are a mission-driven institution. We are not owned by private equity, nor are we accountable to investors. We are governed by an independent board of trustees committed to academic quality, access, and long-term impact, not profit. This structure allows us to prioritize what truly matters: our students, your patients, the future of the profession.
The ceremony also featured the presentation of white coats to the new cohort. Axum officials say the institution remains committed to expanding access to quality medical education while contributing to healthcare development in Dominica and beyond. Congratulations to all. And wrapping up the local news this evening, the Paybush community officially launched its Carnival Princess contestant, Ariana Challenger, with a vibrant village motorcade followed by a brief ceremony. The event brought together residents and supporters, including parliamentary representative for the constituency, Lakia Joseph, members of the Rotary Club, Ariana's family, students, and other well-wishers. Entertainment was provided by students of Paybush Primary School, along with a performance by junior Mona competitor Malik Farrell, adding to the festive atmosphere. In her remarks, Ariana expressed gratitude for the strong community support and encouraged residents to come out and support her on the day of the show. A representative of the Rotary Club also delivered brief remarks commending the community's unity and support for youth development. Ariana Challenger is sponsored by Bella V. Villa and the Stephen Parboy Foundation. And that's all for local news this evening. Stay tuned for regional news coming up next. And now for regional news. The Miss OECS Pageant 2026 returns to Dominica on Friday, the 30th of January at the Windsor Park Stadium in Roseau. under the theme Crowning Radiance, Embracing Unity. The pageant, officially endorsed by the OECS Commission, continues to serve as a platform for youth empowerment and regional integration. Director General of the OECS, Dr. Didakas Jules, said the partnership celebrates the unique identities of member states while promoting unity among future leaders. Delegates from Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, the British Virgin Islands, Dominica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Martinique will compete in segments including creative national wear, talent, swimwear, evening gown, and question and answer. Reigning Queen Kiana Dyer of Dominica will take a final walk and crown her successor, who will serve as a regional youth and cultural ambassador. Tickets are available at Bullseye Pharmacy and Shop DM. Also in regional news, the Democratic Labour Party, DLP, of Barbados officially launched its general election campaign on Saturday with an island-wide motorcade covering all 30 constituencies, starting from the party's George Street headquarters in Bridgetown. Media representative Sue Harris said the motorcade marked the formal start of campaign activities featuring constituency stops, music, and brief remarks from candidates as they introduced themselves to residents. The route included scheduled stops at Folkestone, Farley Hill, and King George V Memorial Park before returning to Dodge Street. The convoy also passed through the central Bridgetown, where members of the public interacted with party leader Ralph Thorne, city candidate Dale Rowe, and other officials. Harris described party headquarters as a hive of activity since the election announcement, noting strong public engagement during recent walkthroughs and outreach efforts. And finally, the OECS Commission joined the global observance of International Day of Education 2026 on January 24, under the theme, The Power of Youth in Co-Creating Education, reaffirming its commitment to placing young people at the center of education reform across the region. The Commission highlighted the role of youth as active partners in shaping inclusive, digitally enabled, and future-ready education systems. Through its Education Development Management Unit, several key initiatives are advancing this goal, including the OECS Regional Education Sector Strategy 2027 to 2037, the OECS Digital Learning Ecosystem, and the upcoming OECS Skills and Innovation Project. Director General Dr. Didakas Jules emphasized that young people are not only beneficiaries but architects of the region's future, noting that youth voices are shaping policy through digital transformation and data-driven planning. A flagship initiative, the OECS Student Census, is currently being administered across member states and has already engaged more than 50,000 students, capturing their views on education, well-being, and aspirations. The OECS Commission encouraged youth participation in the census and thanked students, educators, parents, and ministries of education for supporting youth engagement across the region. And that's all for regional news this evening. Stay tuned for international news coming up next.
Carnival is girls and rum and vibes and rhythm on the road, on the road, on the road. Leave your stress at your home and don't bring it on the road, on the road, on the road, on the road. Girl, I don't care if you have a man. We don't need jams or we party as one. I don't care if you have a man. What happens stays me party, party, party. What happens stays me party, party, party. What happens stays me.
And now for international news. A powerful winter storm swept across the eastern two-thirds of the United States over the weekend, bringing heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain, and dangerously cold temperatures, disrupting travel and daily life for tens of millions. Nearly 1 million customers across southern states were left without electricity, with Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas among the hardest hit. Winter storm warnings stretch from Missouri to Maine, with forecasters expressing particular concern about ice accumulation. Air travel was severely affected, with more than 11,000 flights cancelled and thousands more delayed nationwide by Sunday evening. Authorities across multiple states urge residents to avoid unnecessary travel as icy conditions made roads hazardous. Several states declared states of emergency, activated National Guard units, closed schools and government offices, and imposed travel restrictions as emergency crews worked to restore power and clear roadways. Officials warned that impacts could continue for several days as freezing temperatures persist and cleanup efforts remain underway. Also in international news, at least 18 people have died after a ferry carrying more than 350 passengers and crew sank off the southern coast of the Philippines. According to the Philippine Coast Guard, 317 people have been rescued, while at least 24 others remain missing, following the sinking of the MV Trisha Kirsten 3. The vessel, which carried both passengers and cargo, was traveling from Mindanao to Iolo Island when it sent a distress call shortly before 2 a.m. local time on Monday. Survivors reported rough sea conditions at the time of the incident. Search and rescue operations continue, though emergency responders say they are overwhelmed by the number of survivors requiring assistance. Authorities have launched an investigation into the cause of the sinking. The Philippines, an archipelago of more than 7,000 islands, has a long history of deadly ferry accidents, often linked to overloading and poor maintenance. And finally, in international news, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has urged President Donald Trump to remove federal immigration agents from the state after the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Minneapolis ICU nurse Alex Pretty by Border Patrol officers, the second such deadly incident in recent weeks. Pretty was killed during a protest against federal immigration operations. Federal officials say he was armed and resisted, but video and witness accounts show him unarmed and holding a phone, leading to widespread outrage. Walz called for an independent investigation, criticizing the agent's presence as destabilizing, while the Trump administration defends the operation and blames local leaders. Lawmakers from both parties and others nationally have also demanded a transparent probe. Tensions remain high as protests continue and inquiries into the shootings proceed. And that's all for international news this evening. Stay tuned for the sports segment coming up next. And now for the sports segment. Desmond Amsterdam delivered a commanding performance against Edmond Declue in their light heavyweight clash on the Caribbean Boxing Association's pro-amateur card at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall in the early hours of Sunday. Declue was sent to the canvas on 3 occasions in the night's main bout, prompting referee Ayon Jardine to stop the contest at 2 minutes 29 seconds of the opening round. The fight proved to be a woefully one-sided affair as Amsterdam dominated from the opening bell, overwhelming his opponent with relentless pressure and precision. The Crew struggled to mount any offense, landing a few meaningful punches in what was a brief but entertaining encounter. Also in sports, community spirit and national pride were on full display yesterday as the first ever Independence Community Road Race brought together participants in Hillsborough for a vibrant celebration of fitness and unity. The event formed part of activities leading up to Grenada's 52nd independence celebrations. Organized by the Carriacou and Petite Martinique Celebrations Committee in collaboration with the Sports Council and supported by the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and local government, the race featured keen competition across several age divisions, with athletes vying for cash and prizes. Among the highlights was the presence of Minister Tevin Andrews, who presented awards to winners and praised the event's focus on youth and community development. A pop-up quiz on local history and culture added to the festivities, reinforcing community pride. The race officially kicked off a weekend of independence activities, celebrating Grenadian culture and unity. The Castlebrew Secondary School booked their place in all three championship finals of the Sports Division Secondary Schools football competition, following a dominant victory on Friday, the 23rd of January 2026. Playing in Dubla, Castlebrew Secondary School cruised to a 7-1 win over Isaiah Thomas Secondary School in the Under-20 playoff match. The result secured their qualification for the Under-15, Under-17, and Under-20 division championships, completing an impressive sweep across all age categories. Alston Gasper and Taran George each scored hat-tricks for Castlebrew Secondary School, while Caleb Dangaben added the 7th goal. Jaden Prosper netted the lone consolation goal for Isaiah Thomas Secondary School. And finally, in the sports segment, Portsmouth Secondary School secured a hard-fought victory over Dominica State College A in the Sports Division Secondary Schools Under-20 Netball Championship at Benjamin's Park in Portsmouth. In the lone match played, Portsmouth Secondary edged their opponents 20-17 in an exciting contest. Leading the scoring for Portsmouth Secondary School was Talitha Stewart, who converted 17 of 19 attempts. Stacey Henry added 2 of 8, while Joel Benjamin contributed 1 goal. For Dominica State College, Mamina June led the shooting with 9 of 18, while Akila Daisy added 8 of 15. And that's all for the sports segment this evening. Stay tuned for the weather report. The Dominica Met Office reports a high-pressure system will bring breezy conditions across the island over the next 24 hours. Residents can expect mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers, particularly during the morning and overnight hours. Authorities are advising those living in areas prone to flooding, landslides, or falling rocks to remain alert and exercise caution. Marine conditions. Moderate seas are expected over the next 24 hours, with waves reaching around 5 feet along the west coast and up to 10 feet along the east coast. A small craft advisory is in effect for the east coast. Mariners and sea users are urged to exercise caution. And that's all from the Dominica Met Service. And this brings us to the end of tonight's news broadcast for the 26th of January 2026. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis. On behalf of the entire newscast, we say thank you for viewing. This is EmoNightly News, every moment online. Good night.